Well, you guys, that game was almost as fun as last week's. I think we definitely came out and made a statement that it was not just a fluke last week whenever we did beat K State 55 nothing. Because even I was kind of thinking, well, I mean, we were coming off a big loss to Texas. We were fired up. Maybe we just went out there and just played a lot better than what we are. But today we put up 63 points, which is absolutely ridiculous. We finally got the ground game going, which was one of the biggest things that I had been mentioning this entire season. The O line played great. Just individual stats, real quick. P. Ryan, 23 carries, 201 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Samaje P. Ryan, easily the best game of this season. Last year against Tech, I think he had like over 200 yards and 3 TDs. I think they said it at one point in the game, but he just played ridiculous. Joe Mixon, 16 carries, 154 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He played really good. Together, everyone on our team, 57 carries, 405 yards, 7 touchdowns. The other rushing touchdown was by Alex Ross there in pretty much garbage time. But even though we finally got our ground game going, our passing attack didn't suffer at all. Baker Mayfield, 15 of 22, 212 yards, 2 TDs, and a pick. Okay, maybe it did suffer a little bit because his yardage isn't as high as it has been these past few games. But I'll take that if our ground attack starts working because we can't just rely on the pass. And the interception, I think it was just maybe a miscommunication, maybe a bad throw by Mayfield. I mean, it wasn't a great play, but definitely one that I can excuse, especially since that's only what his second turnover since the Tennessee game. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Probably one of the only times that I was really worried in that game was after the very first play where Zach Sanchez went down. Because if you guys remember back to the Tulsa game when Jordan Thomas didn't play, we put PJ and Banasaur on the outside, and he was just abused all day. So that's who I thought we were going to put back out there. I thought Banasaur was going to trot out and guard the number one receiver, but we put in someone named Dakota Austin. I couldn't think of his name. I had to pull it up. But we put in Dakota Austin. He was tested a lot, and at first it looked like it was going to be a problem because they were just going to comeback route after comeback route, gaining 5 or 6 yards every time. And it got kind of annoying, but you had to have known that they were going to target him a lot once he came in. But, I mean, he made a good play there at the end of the half where he intercepted that pass. Now, if I was Cliff Kingsbury in that situation, I wouldn't have been throwing the ball there. I would have been running the ball and just either try. I understand you want to get points, but there were 18 seconds left. You had a timeout. Why go to the end zone and risk a pick? And I understand that you want to test the corner that doesn't get a whole lot of playing time, but why even try it on that specific play? Maybe like try a slant route and get a few yards closer and then try it. Or an out route where you can get out of bounds easier. I don't know. Just it wouldn't have been the play call that I decided on. But then again, I'm not a college head coach, so what do I know at this point? But one of the funniest moments that I saw in the game, I think the announcers even pointed it out, was Baker Mayfield, like on the sideline, was telling the defense, "Hey, it's a run," and then Texas Tech would run the ball. So I think he might have been helping the defense out a little bit, which is perfectly legal. I'm almost positive of. But I just thought that was a pretty funny moment in the game where he was telling the defense what Texas Tech was going to run. And in case you didn't catch it, the 100 times they mentioned Baker Mayfield went to Texas Tech in 2013. Yeah, and then transferred, sat out last year, and then is now our starting quarterback. And the last subject I want to talk about is I would like to apologize on behalf of most of the OU fans. The fact that we were booing people that, even if they were acting injured, you don't boo injured people because you don't know what is going on. They could have torn their ACL and you're sitting there booing them because they're on the ground. And I understand that it may be a tactic to sit there on the ground and act injured, and the guy who was grabbing his hand. But once again, we don't know the extent of the injury. And if he comes back in a couple plays, yeah, that looks kind of sketchy. But at that moment, you don't know what the injury could be, so you shouldn't sit there and boo people. And I'm a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles. We do it all the time, or by we, I mean the people in the stadium. I don't do it because, same reason, you don't know the extent of the injury. And that's just one of the biggest problems I have with sports right now is the fans that when they have this high tempo offense, if someone gets injured, they boo them because they think they're laying on the ground to act injured. And like I said, I know there are some like strategies where they do that, because even like a few years ago, whenever Bradford was on the Rams, they were playing the Giants and they were moving the ball downfield and running a hurry up offense. And all of a sudden, these two Giant players look at each other and then they both fall to the ground simultaneously. Now, when that kind of stuff happens, I 100% agree that that was probably not a legit injury where both players fell to the ground at the same time. But you still shouldn't boo injured people. So that's all I have to say in this My Thoughts video. Comment down below what you guys thought of the game, what you think on the whole faking injury situation. If I ticked anyone off by saying you shouldn't boo injured people and you were one of the ones booing people, sorry. I mean, that's just my opinion. If you want to boo injured people, go ahead, but I'm just giving you my opinion that you probably shouldn't. But anyway, like I said, comment down below what you guys thought of the game and everything else, and I will try to reply to some of y'all, or probably all of you. I tend to get around to everyone. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And next week we play Kansas, so let's hope that is a beatdown. It most definitely should be, but knowing this Sooners team, it'll probably be a 10-point game, even though we just blew out K-State and Texas Tech. You never know what's going to happen with this Oklahoma team. But anyway, like I said before, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys next week.